some specific work, I am traveling and also been coordinating for this work, so I am not switching on my video. So we have our employees who are being based at different locations across, starting from Tamil Nadu to uh, uh, Rajasthan location. So pan India, all the locations are being covered. So the first batch will have around 25 employees from the different regions, and all these employees are basically being handling the solar operations and maintenance part at our renew power plants. Team, we have Mr. Neerav, who is having a very good and vast knowledge on the fibers aspect in the training, and also apart from the training, he also been having a good exposure on the implementation part. So after several reviews with respect to the fiber trainers, so finally Mr. Neerav's Greendot Institute was being shortlisted from the Renew Power to conduct the training on the fibers aspects. So this is one good platform and the opportunity for us to learn all the fibers aspects and to implement across all our projects. So all the very best and happy learning. And Neerav, so the floor is yours now.
Thank you very much and welcome to all of you. The session is planned according to the schedules that Sir has shared with you. I hope that English will be the convenient or Hindi will be the preferred language. Please let me know if you have any difficulty in understanding. During the sessions, I request all of you to keep your mic on muted mode so no disturbance will be there. Whenever you have a questions, you can raise hands or you can unmute your mic and please do ask a lot of questions and have a good clarity about 5S or any other questions that you may have. Whenever you feel that you have a difference of opinion or you have something to learn, then please discuss across the table so we will have real implementations can be done at your organizations. I hope that this training program will be really useful not only for understanding and learning but will also be useful for implementing the 5S practices across your organizations and will make you more productive and efficient. Let's start the journey with small introductions of myself. I am Neerav Trivedi. I am basically a mechanical engineer. We have worked since last 21 years in the field of productivity and efficiency improvement for various organizations and helping you today and tomorrow for 5S implementation. So this is a 2-day program that we are going to conduct for your organizations. Right, let us start without wasting the time, let's get started to the 5S presentations. I have started sharing the screen. I hope that the screen is visible to you. Please raise hands if you have any questions so we can have some very qualitative discussions over here. In case of the network get disconnected or maybe a poor coverage, I may need to switch off the video and we will have a conversions on audio and the presentations will go on. That could be one of the possibilities. So please don't have any concern over that and then we can move on the part. I hope the screen is visible to you. Let us start with the introductions of 5S practices and about us. So Greendot is basically a management consulting firm helping the organization since last 21 years and we have implemented 5S, Kaizen, TPM, TQM, 20 keys, small group activity, quality circles, lean manufacturing practices and other ISO certifications since long. We have an expertise of around 20 years and we have catered to around 1000 plus clients and 30 plus multinational companies. We have an office in Valsad as well as Mumbai, Haridwar, as well as Ahmedabad, Surat and Baroda. So we are operating at various locations. So this is a brief detail about Greendot. You can also log into our LinkedIn page and we can get connected about this training program. In the last sessions, we will switch on the video for a few seconds and we will capture one screenshots and we will share across the platform with the permissions. So now let us start working on the 5S revolutions. Now let us understand the 5S. So 5S is, it is nothing a big thing and still it is a big thing. 5S was implemented and discussed when we were in junior KG. All our teachers are supposed to guide us that we have to have a clean bags or we have to clean our clothes on daily basis. We have to clean our workstations on daily basis. That was the concept that we started learning from the very early age and now we are learning for the organization's growth and the organization's improvement. When we look into it, So to make a 5S very successful, everybody has to pitch in. It is not a one person job. The 5S is basically not a one person job. If any of the departmental head or maybe the worker operator or maybe the director is only willing to implement the 5S, it is a miserable 5S activity that ever we are going to do it. Because here in 5S implementations, we look forward to have a synergistic effect. When we talk about the synergistic effect, it is 1 plus 1 is will become a 11. That sort of synergistic effect we look forward. In 5S revolutions also, we also need to work for moving from results to managing by the causes. Many of the time, this is a big issue with the 5S. When we discuss about managing results, it is very easy. Like somebody is throwing some dirt or maybe a paper or maybe waste somewhere else, you just need to clean up. So that is called as a managing by results. But that is not going to solve your problem forever. Managing by causes. So you have to work on the causes, that why it is happening and how can we prevent it. When we work like that, then moving from managing by results to moving to managing by causes will work and will give you more sustainability. So 5S is not a single person job. 5S is moving from managing by results to managing by causes. 5S and home and work is not same. Understand these practices. Many of the time, many of the 5S champions keep giving you the examples that managing the home and managing the work is a similar 5S. They give a lot of example with respect to the kitchen management or the home management, but it is not so, friends. 5S is basically at home what practices we are doing. Like say, let us understand. Let's say we purchase a lot of clothes. At every Diwali we purchase some clothes, maybe some other accessories. How many clothes we moved out from our cupboard because we are not going to use it? No, we don't do it. We dump it. We keep dumping it. And that's why the 5S practices at the home is not similar as what we are expected to do at the work. But in some cases I agree that it is very similar. Like we do a housekeeping at Diwali, and majority of the guests are supposed to be at the Diwali. We do a cleanup sessions at our factory also. It is also whenever the visitors or the auditors or some outsider people are going to be there in our organizations, then we do that practices. So that is also similar to some of the part with respect to the home management and 5S practices. Every organization is having a different phenomenon and different culture. So sometimes people say, I will see, I will look into it, I will do it 5S way. I agree, I what you say. So normally 5S way is I agree. So everybody has to agree on some point. So there should be a common ground of understanding while implementing 5S. In majority of the organizations, people don't agree on the common point or the common agenda or the common solutions. They have a difference of opinion, difference of methodology, or completely they have a difference priority. In this case, we need to understand clearly that 5S is the way where you have to agree what you have said. So that should be a one point of agreement should be there, and there is no difference of opinion. If it is there, sit with the team and then start working it. Another big challenge that I personally faced during implementation is, sir, we don't have time. I'm not free. I have other things to be done. In this case, I would like to say that you are not going to do anything additionally, but you are going to change the way you are doing right now. So you are not doing anything extra with respect to the 5S revolutions, but you are going to do in a different way with respect to the 5S revolutions. Whenever you are doing the things, you have to do it in a nice manner. You have to do it for a permanent way. That is a 5S way. Why we are discussing right now before starting the 5S presentations? Because by doing these practices only, the 5S can be more sustainable. And then we have to move on with respect to each and every part. In 5S practices, majority of the organizations would like to have some outsourcing practices. Like they outsource the housekeeping, they outsource the complete cleaning practices, they outsource so many things from the other organizations, and they do cleaning job and many of the things by having one agency over there. But that is not going to work, because outsourcing is actually prohibited in 5S practices. Why I'm saying that prohibited? Because somebody else is going to clean your job and you are not going to clean it yourself. We will discuss in the upcoming slides that why this is not a good practices. What output you are going to receive from the 5S practices? Let us understand. I hope that everybody have gone through the TPM house. If you have not gone through the TPM house, let me explain you in a brief that the TPM house is basically a house which is built on the plinth level, where there are three parts are there. One is a 5S practices or a visual management practices. One is a standardizations. Understand the word standardizations. It is very important part with respect to the lean practices. Another point is a kaizen and a continuous improvement without overloading people. So 5S is basically going to give you a plinth for whatever you are going to do in your organizations. So when people are becoming more disciplined and motivated to improve the 5S practices, of course the efficiency level of the organizations will definitely go on higher side. Your team efforts will be improved, that more disciplinary and safer practices will be followed. You will be having a more improvement with respect to efficiency, effectiveness, cleanliness, lesser rejections, very few accidents or zero accidents. That is what we are targeting. As well as machine life will definitely increase if you are implementing a Jishu Hosen practices, which is upcoming from the 5S practices. Once you do very good 5S practices, then the next level could be the implementation of Jishu Hosen practices. That can be done. And then daily cleaning and measuring instrument, that could be done, and in this way the accuracy and the reliability of the instrument will also improve. The machine life can also be improved. The best part is people will feel amazing while working with the 5S certified organizations or 5S implemented organizations. They feel more boosted, they feel more safe, they feel very easy to work, there are less fatigues and more productivity, lifestyle improved. Even the credibility of the organizations also get increased, and this also help in one and many other ways. So it is the tangible results that we can find out in multiple way. The aspect could be the quality, the efficiency, the safety, the 5S, the productivity, labor productivity, searching time eliminations are there, easy to find out, easy to retrieve, and many more things. So these are very basic advantages that you are going to find out. Apart from these advantages, you can also have a great implementations with respect to many other part, like when you are implementing a TPM practices in the longer level, this is going to be a platform for your organizations, as well as you can also grow your organizations in a nice way, and you have a smarter, brighter, and very safer workstations, which always motivate people to implement it better. Let's move to some of the tangible results. So the tangible results are flow of material and work in progress will become smoother. Many of the time the inventory that you are carrying will also reduce. The floor space will become more organized, and possible for areas of improvement can be easily identified. Understand one thing over here, that areas of improvement can be easily identified. Many of the time it happens, friends, that we are not able to identify the area of improvement. So here in 5S you can easily identify and correct whatever the hazards are there or the area of improvements are there with respect to the quality, maintenance, safer workstations, or maybe a better output. So we can control that. Inventory material and work in progress become very clearly visible and handled. So by visual management, that is a third S, inventory management can also become very easy. Material yield ratio, so the rejection level, rework level will also drastically reduce by implementing the 5S practices. Reduce material handling. So when we work in a very different way with respect to 5S, so the material handling system will be also reduced, and we have a better output. Better handling can be done in this way. So these are some of the tangible results that we can always find out. When the material is, when the workplaces and the material are always free from dust. Dust is very, it's a monster for killing the productivity and efficiency, as well as it will also reduce the life cycle of all the machineries. So if you are working with any of the machineries or any of the tool tackles, then the dust free environment is must to have a better efficiency of it. In TPM, that we are more focused with the abnormality in dust free environment is supposed to be there. Apart from that, the sales people will also get motivated, and they can demonstrate the quality of work that you are doing in your organizations by inviting the people at your organizations, and they feel always boosted moral, and customers can also have a better trust in your organizations as well as your site. So these are some of the tangible benefit that we have discussed. Now let's see that what is 5S. Now understand. So this is any questions if you have, please raise hands or put down in a comment box, and we can discuss on that part. So we can. I understand that everybody is with me. If you like any point, just give a clap over here. So that is going to motivate me to continue the sessions, because I also need motivations, right? So what is 5S? 5S in India is basically considered as, it is considered as a housekeeping practices. Majority of the organization are considering 5S as housekeeping practices. अच्छी साफ सफाई, सुंदर दिखा हुआ work sessions, that is considered as a 5S in many of the Asian industries, and which is not so. Let me be very clear, the 0S implementation is very easy. You just need to clean your workstations, make it very, dust free, any garbage free, and then we said that it is 5S. I have a YouTube channel where you can see that 5S is not a poster on wall. So it is not putting a color, it is not about cleaning the organizations nicely, keeping the things nicely. It is about more productive, more efficient, more powerful, and safe work sessions with improved efficiency and longer life cycles of machineries. And restless work should be eliminated, workload should be maintained, monitored, analyzed, visual standardizations are implemented, and many more things. So if you understand, first we have to come out to 0S level. So when I say the 0S level, the 0S is basically housekeeping practices. You don't need 5S practices to be implemented to have a, saaf suthra organizations. So first we need to understand the 0S level. So 0S is a housekeeping, but the 5S is not about housekeeping. Let us move to the first S. 5S is basically 5 S's, namely Seiri, Satan, Seiso, Shiketsu, and Shitsuke. The first S is saying that sort out the unnecessary item in the workplace and discard them. In doubt, move it out. I use this terminology. In doubt, move it out. So in first S, if you don't need any material, you have to remove it from your workstations and discard it. We will see in the detail. I will just brief you about the second S. So second S is a Satan. So here everything should have a name, and every thing should have a place. So I consider this as a P, place for everything, and everything has its own place. So that is Satan. Third, Seiso. So clean your workplace completely. So it is about cleaning and inspection. So it is about maintaining. So it is about maintenance of all the equipment, tools, machineries, workstations, office workstations, computers, everything. So it is about maintaining everything, right? So this is about cleaning and maintenance, or cleaning and inspections, but it is more understandable what is a maintenance. The fourth part is Shiketsu. The Shiketsu is considered as maintain high standards with respect to workplace organizations, that is standardizations and visual management. Here the standardizations is the word that is replacing the Shiketsu. It's a synonyms of the Shiketsu. Means you have to have a standardizations in the organization. Standardizations could follow in two ways. One, it's a visual standardizations, as well as the second standardization means it is more or less related to the setting up the standard for all your processes. Now this is a big terminology. Standardizations, I again repeat, standardization is divided into two parts. One is a visual standardizations, and another one is a standardizations with respect to all the processes and the methodologies that you are carrying. We will see in the detail when we understanding the 4S, but in the next sessions, right? The fifth S is Shitsuke. It's about training people, following good housekeeping practices, discipline, and maintaining everything consistently. Friends, let me tell you something about the Shitsuke. It is on the fifth S. It is not about implementing one time. I really don't bother whether you are able to implement it 100% or 50% or 30%. You should be bothered about consistently improving it. The word is consistently improving it. If you are implementing any of the 5S practices and not able to retain it, it makes no sense in implementations. So first part is we need to have continuous improvement, and we should make sure that it will not fall back. For in this case, it will only happen when people remain focused, they are aligned, and they are disciplined. The way you are here by tentative, the way you people are managing the whole organizations and maintaining the good disciplinary practices is the key to implement it. As to fourth S can be implemented comparatively easily. The Shitsuke practices need more disciplinary practices, constant training, and you have to work like a mom, a mother. A mother never get tired to teach some good habits to her kids, and she always try to implement certain good practices and habit till that kids not cultivated into a culture kid. So that thing, it's a restless job, friends, and we need to keep doing it for so many reasons. So your role, whether you are a manager, whether you are a director, whether you are a vice president, or whether you are an operator, but your job should be like a mother. You have to keep teaching your kids good practices with respect to the 5S. When you do like that, you are going to have amazing output, and that amazing output will definitely work for you. So the practices over here is basically a 5S. I repeat, 0S is a housekeeping practices, then CAD, that is move out the unnecessary item, Satan, P, place for everything, everything in its place, say so, cleaning and inspection, Sikitsu, it's the standardizations for visual management as well as standardizations for all your processes. Sitsuke means it's setting up the disciplinary practices and improving the processes continuously. If you have any questions, do let me know. Let's move to the level and class of the work sessions. Let us understand over here. In these practices, there are 3 levels of work sessions can be defined. This is very fundamental of the 5S practices. Please understand it very clearly. Every organizations can have a 3 class of work sessions, like the third class work sessions or the third level of the work sessions. People are throwing rubbish around and no one is cleaning up. Like many of the private public places like railway stations, bus stations, or many of the roads are not being cleaned because there are so many people keep throwing the material on the road. There are so many people keep throwing the things on without a dustbin or without a proper place, and we find out that it is a very everywhere there is garbage. So this is a third class work sessions or third level of the workshop is there. So if the organizations or the work session is having everybody is throwing rubbish over there and no one is there to care about it, no one is there to clean up, then it is considered as third class workshop or third level of work sessions. Now moving to the second class of workstations, that is, there are few people who keep throwing the material and there are few people who are keep removing it. In this case, there are certain level of people who are throwing the material down and there are certain people who are cleaning it. It could be at your home, it could be at your offices, it could be at your workstations, it could be at your site. So you have one cleaning staff and you have one managerial people or maybe the operator level people who are working over there, and there is one cleaning guy is there who keep cleaning the workstation. So that is the second level of workstations. The world class workstations are first class workstations where people are not throwing anything rubbish, as well as they get absolutely lift up if anybody is throwing up. In this case, let us take some example of good temples. Now, not all temples are good temples, but with respect to the 5S, I am not talking religiously. So in first class workstations, there are certain temples where nobody is throwing rubbish, and if by mistake somebody is making it dirty, there are so many people are ready to clean up. So this level of workstations are considered as a first class workstations, or it is considered as a WCM, that is world class manufacturing practice, which is a part of our 5S practices. So these class of workstations are there. Now I have a small exercise for you. Assess your organizations or your workstations or maybe your department or your site where it is class 3, class 2 or class 1. In majority of the organizations I find out it is class 3 or class 2. If you are at class 3, don't worry, you have to move to class 2, or if you are at class 2, let us move to class 1. So by developing the practices in 5S, we have to move from third class workstations to the first class workstations. Let's move on. I hope that you understand the concept. So we will understand the first S, second S in little bit brief, and then we start moving with the very detailed implementations part. The SERI, that is the first test, is the organizations and the stratification management is there. So if you see there are two level of organizations. Few organizations are piled up with a lot of documentations, lot of machine tools, a lot of spare parts are available. But the person is working over there is able to identify and retrieve the things whenever needed. How do you rate it, friends? Do you rate it as a good company or a good work sessions or a bad work sessions? Like, I have a pile of paper lying on my table, but if somebody demands any paper, I can get it in few seconds. No worries, I can find out. I know where is what I have kept, and I can retrieve it very easily. So that could be one level of 5S work sessions you can find out, and another one is very neat and organized, but not able to find out. This is also the case in some of the organizations, that you are very organized, very neat and clean organizations you have, but when you retrieve anything or when you need anything, you are not able to find out. So friends, both are wrong. In first case, if I remove the competency of the people, or if I remove that gentleman from the work sessions, you are not going to retrieve any data. In second case, you are very organized, but somehow you are not able to retrieve the documents. So here we have to follow the KJ method, that is called as the Jiro Kawakita. He developed one very simple method. He is also popularly known in Six Sigma implementations, but he developed one very good habit. You can do the exercise right now. In doubt, move it out. Let's open up your wallet. आपके पास एक wallet है. Just open up your wallet. Find out that unnecessary item that is lying in your wallet and discard it. So whenever you find anything which is not going to work for your organizations, for yourself, don't keep it with yourself. You have to move it out. In some of the cases, it is very difficult to implement first test, and first test is a key for a brighter, shiner work sessions. Let's understand in more detail. So the second S is stated neatness. So here let us understand the functional layouts. If we don't use things, discard. Things we do not use but want to have just in case, you have to keep as a contingency item. So you have to keep it at a longer distance. You have to use frequency of use principle. If something you are using very frequently, keep it very near to you. If you are not using very frequently, you have to keep it aside or maybe at a longer distance. That could be possible. Heavy things you can put it down at the floor level. The lighter things you can put it down at the above the shoulder level with safety. So that could be the practices. In neatness practices, you need to understand that we have an intensive study of efficiency part and the searching parts. So make sure that everything what you are going to do is being searchable. The way you search, it should be implemented in that way. We will see in the detail. Who is going to use it, how you are going to use it, where to find out, when to find out, what to find out, how to find out. That could be the ultimate aim of the functional layout, and you have to use this formula called as 5W1H. In this case, the ultimate aim of strengthening up the process is to get as much as you want something when and where you want it. Like say you are keeping some of the material. So when you need that, where will you find that material? How will you find that material? Who will find that material? What will you find? What terminology you will use to find that material? Like say somebody is keeping one mold, or somebody is keeping one material, say for example spanner. So I am looking for a spanner with a box spanner or a toolbox. I am looking for a toolbox. Where that available is there? How people are going to search? Somebody is going to say the toolbox, somebody is going to say the toolkit, somebody is going to use another terminology for the same material. So in this way we have to understand how we are going to use this terminology and how we are going to implement the practices. The third is CSO, that is a cleaning and inspections. Understand the practices cleaning and inspections. Majority time people are only cleaning it, they are not inspecting it, and that is the worst practices that we do in 5S practices, which is not going to lead you to implement TPM and the Jishuhosen practices. So here we need to understand the complete practices of cleaning. So it is complete practices of cleaning. Let us take Olympic game. You find out that many of the time the boy came to the court and he cleaned the surfaces in case of badminton or some other ground games. So what he is doing, he is also cleaning it and he is also inspecting it. So the purpose of cleaning is to avoid inspections, and the ultimate of cleaning and inspections is to have a zero downtime in a longer period. You should not have any abnormalities, and if you have any abnormalities, it should be identified and you have to work on that practices. So this is basically cleaning practices that you have to start implementing, and you have to work on that part. Now this is a big thing, standardizations. Let us understand, friend, before we understand the fourth S. In Toyota practices, there are four principles are there. One of the principle is talking about standardizations. If you want to grow your business, you need to standardize. If you want to delegate certain tasks, you need to have a standardizations. If you want to have easy decision making practices, you have to standardize. If you need to have anything sustainable, you need standardizations. Standardization is basically a key for sustaining anything. As you are implementing any practices, if you don't set the standard, again it will fall back. Whether that practices could be a weight loss in your personal life, or whether that practices could be implementing a 5S, if you don't set standards, it will again fall down and you will not be able to sustain it. So if you don't implement the fourth S well, then the fifth S, sustainability, will not work. Understand that practices. So everywhere we need to put a standard. Like say, morning meeting at what time? It's a standard. How many people are going to attend? It's a standard. How much inventory we are going to keep? It's a standard. How many manpower is needed to do certain job? It's a standard. We have designated machines for designated products. It's a standard. What site need how many manpower? It's a standard. How much time it will take to repair certain type of job like A or B or C? It's a standard. And so this is a process standardizations, one part, and the second is a visual management or a color management. So when you see a red color at the highway, you understand that I have to stop somewhere. If you see a green color on the signal light, you find out that I have to move on. So this is a color management or a visual management and a visual control. Sometimes if you are wearing a seat belt and if you are not wearing a seat belt and you find out a buzzer from the car, that also indicates a visual management practices, and the beep sound will go on. So that is also a part of your visual management. So standardization is a more focused area with respect to the 5S practices. That is what we are going to learn tomorrow. The last S is a fifth S, Shitsuke. Discipline is the first of the 5S practices. Intention is to develop a good habits. Make sure that the word is a good habit. People should always keep thinking for safety, following the SOPs, conducting morning meeting, attending without interest or intentions will not work. So here the disciplinary practices will start. Now let us understand in overnight, a person, any human being can be more disciplined. The answer is no. It is more about consistency. And I again repeat, your job to implement 5S will be like a mother. You have to keep implementing the practices in such a way that the good habits are developed in the kids. So whatever the people you have in your team members, you have to play a role of a mother, and you have to guide them, you have to nurture them, you have to discuss with them in a very wonderful way till the good habits are being established, and then no checklists are needed. See, your mother or my mother had taught me a lot of things in the past to do a daily brush. Sometimes she fired, sometimes she motivate me, sometimes she put a conditions on that part. So every mother did that, right? Every kid was in one or other way was not that great disciplined once upon a time, and then over a period of time we become disciplined. We brush our teeth daily. We take a bath on daily basis. No check sheets are needed because now it is cultivated in habit. That is what 5S practices are more intensing to implement the 5S practices over here. And by implementing such a good practices over here, we would like to have great sustainability. When the 5S become more sustainable, your organizations can have a better output, better behavioral pattern, as well as you can also have opportunity to implement a TPM practices and TQM practices, as well as Jishu Husn and many more other world-class practices can be implemented well. The word is discipline. How fast you can be a disciplined person, how fast you can stand committed to your word, how consistently you are going to improve yourself. It is no matter what you did. Let us take a small example to understand the consistency with respect to the discipline. If somebody wants to run for 25 kilometer in a day, I'm sure I'm very much sure that anybody of us can run for 25 kilometers. But in that case, it is very difficult to run 1 kilometer for 25 days. So we can just finish it off the 25 kilometer in one go, and we take a painkiller, and maybe after taking 2 days of rest, we are again back to the routine. Will it improve your lifestyle? The answer is no. We have to set a standard to run 1 kilometer for 25 days. This means the fourth S is also key for implementing the disciplinary practices. I hope that you have understand the first S, second S, third S, fourth S, and fifth S. If you have any query with respect to the presentations, we have been here since last around 30-35 minutes or 40 minutes. We can still discuss, and we can move on the part. Sharing is paused. I will be really wonderful if you can understand. If you have any questions, and write to me. Let us unmute yourself for maybe 2 minutes of time, and let us have some of the questions till you have, and then we will move on to the first S, second S implementations, and learning about the first S and second S today. I want these sessions to be very interactive, and we can move on. So I request you to have question answers right now.